Hello, faithful listeners, and welcome back to Going Commando with the 80s Kids. I am your host, Ben Davis, and with me, not as always, but as a first-time guest host, is...
Hey guys, I'm Amelia with Carousel of Castles.
That is my wife.
Yep.
That is my wife. You've heard us mention her before.
Oh.
This is a special episode, a very special episode, just like in the 80s, except this time instead of fighting drugs, we're bringing Christmas cheer. So, what we're doing is, here at my house, the Louisville Studios, as Carthy likes to call it, we have been binge watching Big Bang, which is probably one of my top three favorite shows to binge watch right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That and The Office I could watch all day, every day.
Yeah, those are probably my two. And then my other one that I like to watch by myself would be Seinfeld. No one else in this house enjoys it.
It was a little before my day.
It was. It started in the late 80s. So, as we've been watching The Big Bang, we've been taking breaks during the holiday season here to watch Christmas movies.
Yep.
And one of the movies we watched was The Polar Express.
So this kind of got us thinking.
It did. And while we were watching that, we were like, that character is very similar to someone else we've been watching in TV shows.
So if you guys have seen The Polar Express, just kind of think back to all the different kids who are in the movie and think about which one kid is exactly like an adult on The Big Bang.
Now, you also have to know that these characters have no names. They all go by Hero Boy, Hero Girl, Know-It-All. These are their names. And as we were introduced to them, we were literally, it was Amelia, myself, and her sister Rachel. We're sitting here and we're watching it. We're like, that's this, that's that. It was uncanny.
It was almost all three of us at the same time. We were like, oh my gosh, this is that character from The Big Bang that we have been watching.
Yeah. And so what we're doing here is we are making our own Christmas special here with the 80s Kids. We almost did it a little bit last week with the Christmas story. But this week, we're telling our own rendition of The Polar Express, except it's called The Polar Exploration.
Because if you guys remember, in The Big Bang, they actually went to the North Pole to do scientific research.
That's right. So this would be The Polar Express, as if all the characters from the show were in it. Just imagine, I guess, Leonard was having a dream while he was on his polar exploration. And now, to tell us the plot of the movie, and I'll fill in with humor as we go, just as Carthy would normally do with telling us the story of the movie, is the boss, Amelia.
That's me. So, just so you guys know, for all of you guys in Radio Land who can't see us, we have our hot chocolate. We're drinking our hot chocolate because it's hot chocolate time. That's what you do on the Polar Express. You get we don't have cookies. You get cookies, you sing, you dance, and you drink hot chocolate. So we are doing today's episode drinking our hot chocolate. So for those of you who have not seen the movie, or maybe it's been a few years since you've seen it and you need a little bit of a refresher, I'm not going to refresh Big Bang, because if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't.
If you don't, go watch it.
Just start at the beginning, watch it. It's hilarious. So to start the movie, it starts out in this little boy's house. It is Christmas Eve. We find out that this year he has no Christmas spirit. He has not written a letter to Santa. His sister has hung all of the stockings. He's not taking any part in it. So we see the family go to bed for the evening, and all of a sudden the boy in his bed, he hears this noise and he gets up. We think the time period of this movie is the 1950s.
Yeah, it seemed to be the late 50s.
Yeah, he has Western posters of horses on his walls, and it seems to give a very 50s-esque vibe. So this little boy, he gets up, and he rushes to the door to see what's going on. Is it Santa? He doesn't know. And when he opens his door, here is this steam cloud, and there is a huge train pulling up in front of his house.
Right there, you're like, it's got a train in it.
Yep. There's a train in it.
That's
key number one, that we think that we saw the similarities between the Big Bang and the Polar Express.
I'm pretty sure Chuck Lorre was watching this show at one point.
Oh, had to have been.
Wait a minute, that'd make a great character.
So the conductor steps out, and the conductor in the movie is Tom Hanks. And this is an animated movie for those of you who may not have seen it before. It's an animated movie.
It was the very first completely digital animated movie. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records at the time.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
So it's animated, but the conductor character looks exactly like Tom Hanks. You can definitely see that and look at him and know that it is Tom Hanks who is voicing it. So they did a really good job.
Yes, and at first we were like, this is Big Bang, and this is going to be a later season episode, and we're like, they have the money to get Tom Hanks. But then we decided against it because this guy, you cannot talk Big Bang without having him in an episode.
Yep. So the conductor in the movie is a guy who is stepping up, taking charge. He's the biggest of everyone. He is the only adult in this movie that we really see, except for the parents kind of in the background. But he's the only adult in this movie, I would say, who has a... Well, no, there's other adults in it.
There's some other adults, but
that we see.
He's the guy that's going to take charge.
He's the guy who's going to take charge. He is in charge, and people know that he's
almost
in charge.
As if he might have had some futuristic military training.
Yep. I don't know what that means.
So our listeners will.
So we have said that the conductor, if they couldn't get Tom Hanks to actually come in and do a live action of this with the Big Bang characters, we have pegged the conductor to be Wil Wheaton.
Mm-hmm. It just occurred to me that there's probably some people who were thinking maybe it's going to be Stephen Hawking.
Oh.
But he was only in like 3-4 episodes, and having that guy be in charge of the whole train would be in poor taste.
It would, because you have to go from train car to train car, and there's the openings. You have to be able to jump over them. So I don't think that.
I think we went the right way with Wheaton.
I think so. Wil Wheaton. He's loud. He likes to be in charge. He wants all of the other characters to know that he is important.
Wheaton. That's right. The only guy that can really make Sheldon mad.
Yeah, he is the guy who can make Sheldon mad. So we have put the conductor character as Wil Wheaton, and this is the first character that we really hear say words. I think the the boys' characters' parents sort of mumble a few things in the background.
Charlie Brown-esque?
Yeah, Charlie Brown-esque, but we don't really hear what they're saying. So this is the first person in the movie who we actually hear speak words. And I think that's fitting that it would be Wil Wheaton.
Okay, so this boy we met, his name in the movie is Hero Boy.
Yeah, so he's kind of a quiet, reserved character. He's a little bit cautious of what's going on. You can tell that he's thinking, okay, trains don't just pull up to people's houses. What's going on? Why is this person getting out and talking to me and telling me I need to come aboard because I have no Christmas cheer? So he's a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, he's like, I kind of want to see what this is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this boy, he was not going to get on the train. The train actually starts to pull away, and then at the last moment, he runs to catch up, and he jumps on the train last minute. So do you want to say who we think this boy is?
Well, he's obviously Leonard.
This boy we think is Leonard.
It's hard to tell at the very beginning, but as the movie progresses a little bit, it's obvious.
Yes, it is. So Leonard is always that kind of kind, compassionate. He puts up with Sheldon. And you can tell he really loves Sheldon, but at the same time, he's a little bit like annoyed by it.
Yeah.
So I think the hero boy in this movie is the same. He's really curious and interested about what's going on. And we'll see kind of as time progresses, the things that he does that show that he's really a caring, gentle spirit.
Yeah, that's another thing. Hero boy.
Yep.
Leonard is often a hero in the group who's overlooked because Sheldon is there, and he gets the, oh, good job, Sheldon. And in this film, the hero boy is a hero who gets overlooked by everyone, except at the very end he does get a glimpse at a hero because it's, that's just how it is.
Yep.
So it's very fitting, I think.
I think so too. And we'll talk more about why this is a good fit as the movie progresses. But now that he's on the train, we see a whole slew of kids. So the train car is packed full of kids, and this is where we're all sitting around and we all started laughing at exactly the same time. And this was the moment in the movie where we knew that this could be done as the Big Bang seamlessly, effortlessly. Yes. It would just flow so beautifully. It is when we meet this boy.
Yeah.
So he's tall, kind of lanky, he has glasses, and he is spitting off fact after fact after fact about these trains and what is going on about these trains, and he wants to make sure that you know all of the facts about the train, and he wants to make sure that you know that he knows
he's the smartest boy.
That he is the smartest boy. And when he starts spouting off all of these facts is when we all look at each other and start laughing, and we know, we're like, this is Sheldon.
That's Sheldon. That's so Sheldon. It was too much.
So this was our great epiphany, if you will. This was our epiphany moment when we said, this movie could be done with the Big Bang characters. We need to get Chuck Lorre in on this, and we need to make this happen.
Now that we're going to put this out, he might actually be coming to silence us because he's like, wait a minute, they figured it out finally.
Right. So this boy, we get to see him, we get to know him. Immediately you know that he is Sheldon-esque, that he knows everything that is going on, and the fact that he is obsessed with trains makes it all the more perfect.
Yeah, he was all the facts. He knew more facts than trains. Which throughout the movie, you find it's so fitting. And I'm sure there's other things out there where there's a know-it-all boy, and everybody's like, "That's so Sheldon." Yep. And the fact that this man has created this character that will forever be in the ether of Americana is. And everyone will be like, that guy's so Sheldon. Even if you're someone you just meet on the street.
Yep.
That's amazing. What a feat of, I don't know, TV fiction.
I think so.
Amazing.
I think for a lot of people in your 30s, 40s, 50s, if you say, hey, what TV show is Sheldon on? I think everybody would know immediately that it's Big Bang.
Yeah.
So he really has created this character that resonates with a lot of us, because a lot of us probably know someone like this or have met someone like this, and in school and college or just going throughout your lives. So I think that the Sheldon character really resonates with a lot of people, so it's easy to create this coalition. What's the word I'm looking for? Correlation.
Correlation. Yes,
really
that's pretty good.
Create the correlation between these two characters.
Okay, and from there we meet the next character.
Okay, so on the same train car, because it's a train car full of kids, they've been going throughout the country and kidnapping children, if you will, in the middle of the night from their homes in this mysterious train that's just coming
just
up
pulls
and
up
down
in your front yard.
Yeah, no train track needed. It's fine. It's cool. And these kids are like, okay, let's go.
Hey, I'm Will Wheaton. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. The next kid, a lot of these kids don't have speaking parts. We don't get to know them individually as characters. But the next character that we do actually meet and we get to know and has an assigned name, so she doesn't have an official name. Her name is Hero Girl.
Yes.
And this girl is sitting very quietly in her seat, and when the hero boy, the Leonard character, gets on, he sits down opposite her on a train car, and she is just looking at him. She can tell she's looking at him. He's kind of confused. Maybe she thinks he's a little cute. I don't know, but she's just smiling at him. And this kid the whole time is oblivious. She is just smiling at him, and then all of a sudden she just smiles at him and goes and stands up and starts talking to him. And you can tell this is the sweetest, nicest girl that you have ever met. She is just wonderful and a nice, friendly person.
And outgoing.
Very outgoing, yeah. So this girl, if you're thinking back to our Big Bang cast, who would it be? So which girl would fit this model, who is very sweet, very friendly, very outgoing, kind of likes everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Has to be Penny.
It's Penny. So we pegged this little girl as Penny, and she even has little pigtails. She's just an adorable little girl.
And she does put up with the know-it-all throughout these scenes. She
Yep.
does not have a problem with him.
Nope.
As most people would.
Yep. She
Both of
never
these two
says sit
characters,
down, be quiet.
yeah, both of these two characters do allow him to spit his facts at them.
Yep.
So it's like, it's like, well, yep, I've seen this.
Yep. There's one part a little bit later in this movie that really solidifies for me, and it's a relationship between this hero girl, this Penny character, and another character that I could see in the show. I remember the exact moment in the Big Bang Show when this moment happened, and that's this moment, we'll talk about it when we get to it, solidifies for me why this girl is Penny. So let's see. Do we meet any other little? I don't think we meet any other kids right now. This is a hot chocolate. This is hot chocolate. It's hot chocolate time. So this is the moment where they come in, and there are all of the. There's like a 1-to-1 ratio of number of people who work on this train.
This is the scene
apparently.
where we all couldn't figure out. We all had our disagreement about the Sheldon character in the scene. We couldn't decide if we thought he would think it was foolish.
Oh yeah.
Or if he would be, this is great because it's on a train and the conductor's leading it, so therefore it has to be awesome.
Yeah, we didn't know how Sheldon would feel about this, because like Ben said, that it could be like he would be like, well, they don't actually do this on trains. They sit down and have nice, refined meals, but at the same time, this is a magical train going to the North Pole, so maybe this is cool.
Yeah, we couldn't decide. It
Yeah.
was just kind of like one of those moments where like, I could actually see it going either way.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys think. If you have seen the movie and if you know the TV show really well, let us know what you think Sheldon would think about this. Do you think that he would have been like, no, you need to stop because it's not how it's done on trains? Or would he be like, this is awesome, bring on the hot chocolate and cookies?
Then again, we're saying this is, what, Leonard's dream?
Sure.
So I guess he's having a good dream, so therefore Sheldon's not being quite the ass that he usually is.
Yeah. That could be it too.
Okay.
Yep, that could
so
be it.
they have the hot chocolate, and hero Penny and Leonard realize, no, wait.
No, so
Penny says there's a boy in the back didn't get it right.
no. Okay, so you skipped an entire scene.
Oh,
So
I did.
Next, what happens is you find out the last stop that they're going to is on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will. So it's
Dum
it's
dum
the,
dum.
yeah, it's the bad area, it's the poor area, it's not where people want to go. And there's this one house out in the middle of nowhere. It's not in like a country house. It's so weird. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the descriptions of the scene or anything. But we go to pick up this boy, and you know that he is a very poor boy. And we go through the scene of him getting on the train. But he doesn't go sit in the train car with the other kids.
He doesn't talk to anybody.
He doesn't talk to anyone. He's very shy.
You think he's mute.
Yeah, you do. He has not said a single word to anyone, and he doesn't even go, the conductor doesn't even offer for him to go in the same train car with the other children, and I don't know why. He just sends them to the back train, the caboose.
Yes, he's in the caboose.
Yeah, all by himself, all alone, not talking to anyone. And I do not remember exactly how it happens, but he has somehow, no, he doesn't lose his ticket. The
girl leaves her ticket when she goes with Will Wheaton
Yep.
to give him the hot chocolate. Leonard, seeing the ticket, is like, she needs her ticket, so he gets ready to take the ticket, and
Okay,
he
he's
can't.
jumping ahead.
He can't get over the hatch.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so to paint you a picture of this, the one boy is in the back, all by himself, lonely, not talking to anyone, and his name is
We decided Billy the Lonely Kid,
Billy the Lonely.
and we went with Raj, but some of it doesn't make sense. But the reason we went with him is because of his selective mutism.
Correct. So we know Raj comes from a very wealthy family. He regularly lets us know how rich his dad is.
Well, here in the later seasons, he does turn out to struggle with some extreme poorness.
Well, that's just because he chose to give up his family's money, but he would not have
So
been
he
living in
never
a house.
had any money. except for
He did
his.
not. It was his parents'
Well,
money.
we looked it up last night. Remember, there's some decent money.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to live with it. But the selective mutism, I looked that up also. That is, it's pretty rare. So the fact that this kid was struggling with it, that's the best way to fit them together.
Yeah, so I'm not sure this kid had selective mutism. I think he was more so like shy, and we don't really know why he's sitting in the back caboose by himself, not with anyone else. But he is, and this girl, this hero girl, Penny, if you will, she said, well, he didn't get any hot chocolate because they were doing their whole hot chocolate time, singing, dancing, and this boy in the back was not served hot chocolate. So Penny decides that she saved him a cup of hot chocolate. And so this is a train, an actual real train. In between the train cars, there is the outside. You know, it's kind of scary. It's you have to jump from one train to another with the wind blowing. So she did this. She stood up. She left her ticket on the seat, and took some hot chocolate back to the back. Well, our hero boy, Leonard, sees that she left her ticket, doesn't want her to get left out or thrown off the train. He grabs the ticket, and in true Leonard fashion, everything's going to go wrong. He opens the train door. He sees how scary it is, decides that he really needs to get this ticket to this girl. So he wants to jump from one train car to the other, but as he does, it's windy and the ticket blows out of his hand. What are they gonna do?
That is the best scene I said in the movie.
Yeah.
With the ticket blows and you see how the ticket flows.
Yep.
All through the area. Very reminiscent of the Forrest Gump scene, which I did not like, but I did love this digital composition of seeing this ticket float everywhere that it went.
What was that one movie with the bag that was blowing?
That's American Beauty.
Oh, that movie. I
hated that
movie.
scene. I love that movie.
Okay, I did not like that.
Well, that's about a man going through a midlife crisis in exactly the age I am right now at 42.
Okay, well, that movie did not resonate with me
But
when
no,
I
you're not a
was in
man.
my 20s or 30s, whenever...
I even resonated with it then.
Well, I did not. Anyway, we're not talking about that movie, but the scene is similar to that of the bag kind of floating, and you see the ticket is floating, and the ticket. So I should preface by saying each ticket is individualized. Mm-hmm. So the conductor
non-transferable
is non-transferable. When you get on, the conductor punches 2 letters in your ticket, and it's just 2 random letters. You don't know what it's going to be. So the tickets are individualized. You can't give them to anyone else because the letters that have been punched in it are individualized for you. So our little hero boy is trying to get the ticket, which has not been punched, by the way. So that's a little bit of a spoiler for the future. Her ticket has not been punched. The conductor had just not gotten around to her yet. He's trying to get the ticket back to her, and now we see the ticket floating. It goes through the forest, and there's some little foxes or something that are playing with it and kind of like scuff it up, and then it goes along the river, and the current is flowing it. But it is just, it is really a beautiful scene.
Yeah, I loved that scene. It was awesome.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, but the little girl, she makes it back to the back to go talk to the little boy, and what I don't remember if it happened here or if it happened later, but the thing that really solidified to me that this character is Penny is the fact that our little quiet boy, who has not spoken a word since he has been introduced, he is sitting in the back all by himself. He's very shy, very reserved. He and Penny are talking. And in the TV show, in Big Bang, we know that Raj can't talk to girls unless he has alcohol in him. And the one scene that really solidified this for me was the fact that in the Big Bang, there was one episode where Raj started talking to Penny, and Penny said, well, hey, Raj, you haven't had any alcohol. And he was like, well, I haven't. I guess I'm comfortable with you now.
Yeah.
And that was the moment. Penny was the first woman that Raj had talked to without alcohol in his system. He was very comfortable around her. And in the movie, this little shy boy, Penny, the hero girl, was the first female or the first person in the whole movie that he spoke to.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment where you said that.
I said that.
Yeah, you were the one that spoke that out, and we were all like, "Oh yeah." So I mean, that was a really good pickup, really deep thought into it you had there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was for me solidified, because even Ben was like, "Are you sure this is Penny?" I'm like, "Yes, it's Penny." And then when that happened, We knew.
Yeah, nailed those two characters down.
Yep.
Well, when do we meet Howard?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Howard comes next. So here, okay, poor Leonard, and you can tell he would be actually doing this. This ticket has
He'd
flown
do
out of
anything
his
for
hand.
Penny.
He would do anything for Penny. Anything for Penny. So the ticket has flown out of his hand. It's flying everywhere, and he's trying to get it. So he climbs to the top of the train, and he's walking along the top of the train trying to catch this ticket. Which, okay, does anybody actually know, is it realistic for someone to actually walk on top of a train? I don't know. If you
I don't
guys
know.
if you guys know
don't
anything
know the
about
physics.
physics, yeah, I do not. I say no. I don't think that
guess-
realistically
It depends on how fast the train's going.
it was booking it.
I'd say going 20, 30, 40 miles an hour, yes.
No, this train was in like open tracks. It was not in a town. There was nothing around they needed to stop for.
I'm going to say
It was,
80 miles an hour, no.
Yeah, so this character, and we see it a lot in other action movies, you know, Tom Cruise movies or whatever, people walking on the top of
Yeah.
trains. I don't think realistically
Well, Tom
that
Cruise
could
could
happen.
do it.
Well, he thinks he can. So, if you guys know the physics behind it, if someone can actually walk on top of a train,
Can you
and
walk
hold
on
yourself
top
on
of a
it,
train?
yeah, let us know, because I am very curious. I do not know the answer to it. My sciencey mind is going to know, because the force of the wind would be too strong and you would not be able to hold yourself on there. But on top of the train also, not only is our hero boy Leonard walking on top of it, but he sees something on top of the train.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is seeing this bright light, and as he gets closer, we realize that there is a adult human elderly man.
It's a hobo
sitting-
encampment, is what it is.
It is a hobo encampment on top of the train. He has a fire. He is cooking soup on top of the train.
Making coffee.
Coffee, was it coffee?
You know how he made that? Don't forget how he made the coffee.
okay.
You
Yeah.
know, you know how you
You know how you know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
someone makes some bad coffee?
you know what you use for the filter when you're homeless and you need coffee?
You're going to tell me.
You use your sock. Some
Yep.
people, I think, use their underwear.
Yep.
But I've seen sock is what they used in the old West. When they were traversing to long periods. I knew that because of Lonesome Dove. But
Also, if you guys have ever had sock coffee, let us know. if it's a thing.
almost choked on that one. I didn't expect you to be asking people if they've had sock coffee.
If you've had sock coffee, let us know.
If you've had sock coffee, I don't think that you should let anyone know that ever,
I'm
ever in
curious.
life. Yeah, unless you're opening up your own place. Sock coffee,
Yeah.
right next to Starbucks.
There you go.
Ours has got a little bit of a kick to it.
A little twang.
There you go. Mine's got a toenail in it. Oh,
Okay.
God.
All right. Okay. We're gonna stop talking
Oh,
about
sweet
this now.
Lord.
So this hobo guy, I don't think he actually has a name. This
No,
hobo
he's
guy,
called the hobo.
the hobo. Okay. So on the cast list, he's listed as the hobo. This guy is a little bit creepy. He's a little bit off, if you will. He says some things you're like, huh, well, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah, he's the questionable character in the movie.
Yep. We have pegged this guy. I think Ben mentioned a couple of minutes ago. The creepiest guy in the entire show is definitely Howard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old Wallowitz.
Yeah, he's a little bit creepy toward the women, and he says some things that are just a little bit like, well, you should be thinking that, not saying that.
Cringy. And
Yeah.
the hobo, he did some cringy things.
Yeah.
He said some cringy things.
He
I can't
did.
remember what they were, but at the moment we were like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I should have written it down, but I didn't. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was pretty cringe. And Howard, he loves his wife, but he's a little bit cringe.
Yeah.
So,
He tries.
yep. This hobo, and we do find out this hobo is not real. He's either a ghost or a figment of his imagination, or he's a spirit of some sort. Because when the train is going underneath and it hits the what do you call it?
The bridge.
The bridge, yeah, to go underneath the bridge. He
or the
vanishes.
tunnel.
The
It depends
tunnel.
on what it
It was
was.
a tunnel.
Could
Yep.
have been a tunnel or a bridge, but I think it was brick, so probably
It was
was a
yeah.
tunnel.
So I think it was a tunnel, and when he goes underneath the tunnel, this character, this Howard hobo character, just disappears. So we don't really know if he is a spirit, a figment of his imagination, or some sort of ghost of travelers past.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. We see that happen more than
a couple of
twice.
times he
three,
disappears.
three-
Yeah.
yeah, 2 or 3 times. You almost because Tom Hanks or Will Wheaton mentions him too. How he saved him from falling off on his very first polar expedition.
Yep, at the very end of the movie, the conductor does mention him about how there was just something out there that saved him. So,
Yeah,
he
so
must be just some kind of
Howard might be
ghost traveling.
creepy, but don't forget he was also an astronaut.
He was an astronaut.
So he is a true hero.
He is. Yep.
That's right. So he gets the ticket, right? Because
So, no, well,
Howard gives him the ticket. He had it.
Howard, yeah, the hobo guy had it and gave it to him, but now he has to figure out how does he get back into the train. And at this point, I had kind of tuned out. I have a very short attention span, and I can't really focus for a long time, so I had tuned out at this point. But when I started paying attention again, there were these other two characters here. They were the guys who, not the conductor. I don't even know what you call them in train speak.
You may tell you how you got back in the train.
No, I want to know what are the name of these two. What are they called? Like the guy who shovels the coal.
Oh, well, one of them, yeah,
engineer.
yeah. There was the engineer and the guy. The I don't know what the hell he's called. The shoveler dude, the coal shoveler dude.
Yeah. So
But in the movie, they're called Smokey and Steamer.
okay, so there are two more characters that we are introduced to now, while our hero boy is trying to get back into the train. These two guys realize that the train's going out of control. They need to shovel more coal in, and there's a key, right?
Well, I know how they.
Okay, you tell me this part because I had tuned
I know
out.
how they got up there.
Okay, how did they get
Because
up
he
there?
gets back in the train.
Okay.
And he gives the ticket to Will Wheaton and says she dropped her ticket. And Will Wheaton's like, oh, well, I've already escorted her out, because they're non-transferable because he lost it, blah, blah, blah. So when she's in the front of the train, that's whenever he finds the ticket that had blown all through everything. The guy didn't have it. It was in that air duct, remember?
It was in the air duct.
Yeah. So then he finds, he's like, oh my gosh, now I've got to really get it to her because I tried to give my ticket away and it wouldn't work, blah, 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 blah. So then he finds out that Will Wheaton had taken her up. So that's when he goes up through all the other ones. He goes to the puppets.
To the steam engine.
Yeah, and that's when he gets up front and he's like, here's your ticket. She's like, I don't want my ticket, Penny says. They're letting me drive the train. Because she's driving the train, and that's when we meet Smokey and Steamer, who are out on the front because the headlight's out.
The headlight is
And
out.
they're changing the
Yes.
headlight of the train.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And for some reason, the Tom Hanks or Will Wheaton character is out there just kind of looking at them while they're doing it. So they change the headlight, and all of a sudden, you know what they see? Reindeer all over the track.
Yep. Yep.
So that's where we've come to.
Okay. So, yes, that all is coming back to me
But
now.
who are Smokey and Steamer?
Okay, so we have the guy who shovels the coal. And these guys, one of them is a little bit plump. One of them's kind of skinny and scrawny. They're a little bit, like, they're not quite sure about what's going on here.
One of them is smarter because he's the guy who's in charge of the train. The other one
Yep.
knows what's going on, but he gets pushed and he goes, oh, a lot. He goes, makes a lot of, oh, noises, kind of like he's like, oh, what's going on?
Yep.
So,
So one of them definitely has some sense to him. The other one does not, but they're still very goofy characters.
Yes.
They are not. They are the comic relief of this movie.
at this point, yeah.
Yes, they are definitely the characters who were thrown in to give it a little bit of humor for the children.
Yep.
So they at one point, like Ben said, they are trying to fix the light on the front of the train, and they're dangling off, they're hanging off, they're like, for those of you who can see me out there, they're like,
They're very marionette-like.
Yes, yes. So these characters, if you can think from the show Big Bang, who are someone who are kind of background characters. They're there for a little bit of comic relief. They're kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them who we have these two people?
Smokey, who's the bigger guy, we're saying I can't remember. It was just saw it last night. His name's Bert, which is short for something.
Yeah.
Like
we saw the last
Bertinus
night
or
when he won
Bertness.
his $500,000
Yeah.
award. Yeah.
Bert.
Bartholomew or
I
something.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's him.
It's Bert.
And
from,
then the
from the
steamer-
geology department.
Is one of my personal favorite characters, Stuart.
It's
I
definitely
love
Stuart.
Stuart. He's one of my favorite characters. He's like one of my top three.
Yeah.
I love Stuart.
Stuart is a good guy. He has a good heart, but he's not very good businessman. He's not very good at being in charge of things. His
Oh.
his life is always in shambles. His life is pretty much a disaster, and he's a really good guy. He tries, but he's just not everything's firing and clicking there.
He
And
continually gets the better of Raj, though. It's awesome.
he really does. And then the Bert character from the geology department, he's a really, really tall. He's probably like 6.5 feet tall, red hair.
Well, Sheldon's like my size, so it's like 6 feet, 6.5 feet.
Yeah, so this guy.
So
is
this guy's
taller.
got to be like Justin's height or bigger.
I think he's bigger than Justin.
Yeah, wow.
So he is like this big, just bulky, kind of like goofy guy, and that is how exactly the Bert character in Big Bang is portrayed as well. But he is very smart, very intelligent, but he's just that big teddy bear, kind of lovable, goofy guy.
This could be Justin to me.
Yeah.
All right,
All
rolling on.
All right. So we get the headlight fix.
Reindeer
on the train.
scene.
Yep, we get the headlight fix, and they put the headlight in, and there are reindeer on the train tracks, and they can't get through. Which there are no train tracks, are there?
They're on top of the ice.
Yeah, they are on top of a lake, which is ice.
Makes no sense.
So why they can't just go around it since there are no train tracks? This train has not been on tracks the entire movie.
It's crazy.
So I don't know why it's such a big deal, because they could just like slowly creep through it, but they're not. They're freaked out about it. But they're sitting on the ice for too long, and the ice starts breaking with the weight of the train. So now they're trying to like frantically drive the train on ice with no tracks and guide it to the other side of this mountain where there is a teeny tiny little opening, and they have to get the train exactly in this little opening, and it's
They
a
were
disaster.
driving that train like they belonged in the next Fast and Furious movie. Fast and Furious 11. This time there's trains.
Yeah,
mean,
trains on ice.
That train's on ice. The one with the rock comes back. He's up there on ice skates. Yeah, buddy. Got you this time.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, Dwayne Johnson can do anything.
Yeah.
So.
So they get back in there. They hit that little spot, and then they boom, and then you know what? Then they're at the North Pole.
Yep, and then they go up this mountain that kind of looks like the mountain in where the Grinch lives.
It kind of did.
Yeah. So they go up the top of this, and they go across the bridge, and there they are, the North Pole. So if you guys might know, there are still two main characters that we have not placed just yet.
Yep.
The first character that we're going to place is perfect, and I knew before we even saw this, I'm like, well, she has to be this.
Yeah.
Because she is short, teeny tiny. She has said a couple of times she is 4 feet 11 inches.
Yep. But she does.
Yep.
She said last night she could take a bath in a sink.
Yes, she does.
She just chooses not to.
Which I don't blame her for that. So in the North Pole is filled with elves. We know that. So Bernadette is our perfect elf. There were a few elves that had some speaking parts, and as soon as the first elf spoke, we were all like, that's Bernadette.
Yeah, she was. And that elf showed up more than once.
Yeah, and there were several elves that had speaking parts, but just for our show purposes here, I think we would give all of the main speaking elf parts. We would just consolidate them into one
pretty
character,
much.
which would be Bernadette, just so we don't have to have all of these extras and everything.
True.
Yeah, so
There, after thinking more about it, there was one sort of sourpuss elf, and I guess you could give that to if we had to, that other scientist that Leonard dated in the very first season.
Oh yeah,
Played by the woman, the one from
Sarah,
Roseanne.
Sarah Gilbert.
Sarah Gilbert,
Yeah.
yeah, her character.
Yeah.
Leslie.
Leslie, that was Leslie.
I guess
yeah.
if we had to do that, we could put her into one of those roles because she is kind of sourpuss. There was kind of a sour elf
Yeah,
as well.
and she's petite as well. Everyone
Yeah.
in the show is pretty short except for Sheldon. He's kind of the
yeah.
oddball out, and then Bert, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's actually, we didn't have that written down on our list, but I really like that idea. Leslie is a bit of a sourpuss. She's kind of short, but I could see her in a little bit of Christmas Jingle.
Yeah. And other than that, I mean, there's only one big role left. But if you want to tell the story of what
I'm
happens
going
to
to tell
them
the
there
story.
at the North
Yeah,
Pole.
so let's tell the story about what happens to the kids here at the North Pole. So the kids, they're on the train, and somehow they accidentally make the train go. So all the kids had gotten off except for our main characters of Hero Boy. Oh, I forgot to mention this. The little lonely kid, Raja's character, he's singing a song at one point.
Yes, he does. That's right. He really comes out of his shell.
He really does, but he's still in the back of the train. He's singing about how he's lonely and Santa doesn't
Oh my
come.
gosh! So if this were in the Big Bang, you think he would be doing one of those Indian dance things?
He could,
What is it? What are those? The
like the Bollywood.
yeah,
stuff.
the Bollywood stuff.
No,
Oh man, you don't think?
no, we need to keep
Don't
it.
they have Christmas stuff too? Don't they have Christmas Bollywood?
I don't think so.
Could have swore I've seen somebody do a rendition. No, that was Diwali. They did have Diwali. That's what they
Yeah.
have. They
Oh
have
man,
Diwali.
Diwali is wonderful. If you guys do not know what Diwali is, it is a Scarlett. You need to stop moving my microphone. Diwali is the festival of lights in the Indian culture. It is beautiful. They have lights everywhere. The food is absolutely amazing. I love Indian food, and the special foods that they have. Hold on, the dog's tangled up. The special foods that they have during Diwali would be like what we have at Christmas, our turkey and our dressing and everything. They have special holiday foods for Diwali. I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but
That's normal.
I love the Indian culture, and food is just top notch. Indian food is some of my favorite, and it is a beautiful celebration. If you guys have never experienced a Diwali celebration or know anything about it, we did one of our homeschool things one year, because we homeschooled for many years. We did a Christmas, we cooked some foods, and we learned about Diwali, and it was just a really beautiful holiday, really beautiful celebration.
Yeah, that's cool. I knew when I said that, I was putting two words together. When I was thinking of Diwali, I was putting Christmas and Bollywood together and thinking Kawali. I'm like, that isn't it. It took me a minute to get there, but I was getting it.
Yep.
It was working. It was rumbling around in the old brain. So
Okay, so we would have Bernadette, and I guess we can put Leslie in, surprise Leslie
yeah, that's
character
true.
here
Yeah, a
as our
special
elves.
guest star.
Yeah, guest starring. And the character, and I do not remember how, but all of the kids are off the train. Again, most of these are unnamed kids, and we don't really hear them, we don't talk to them, we don't interact with them. But our three main characters, the Leonard character, the Penny character, and the Raj character, are on this train, and it just starts to roll away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've forgotten all about their little adventure.
Yeah. And then at some point, the little
And Sheldon
car
isn't
that they're
with
in-
them.
No, Sheldon is not with them. It's just those three characters.
Yeah.
And of course, they're scared. They don't know what's going on. The train is rolling away, and their train car eventually rolls to this big round rotunda.
It's got a name. I was thinking even when we were watching it, I'm like, I knew the name of that up until I was about 18. Now I don't remember it. And I was like, man, I really wish Sheldon was here.
Yeah, it's like the big terminal. Like you would
It's
think,
the
like
thing that
Grand,
spins spins you around and gets the train going this way.
yeah, like
all the other tracks.
like Grand
Yeah.
Central Station, where all of the trains kind of come into one, and then they can rotate them to where they need to go. That type of thing. But this one is like super terrifying because it is like 200
Lord.
feet up in the air, and all of the train tracks are coming in on these little tiny train tracks, and you can't walk off of it.
You misspoke. It's not tracks. It's rails.
Okay, well, I
There
don't know
were
the
no
difference.
tracks. It was just
Oh.
the two rails. So when they had to walk, they had to like balance onto the one. Remember?
Yeah, like a tightrope
Yeah,
walker.
because they couldn't walk upon the tracks, the wooden beams,
Yeah, there were
which
no like railroad
yeah, like you
ties.
would normally walk upon, like in the
Yep.
movie Stand by Me or something. No, you had to like, oh Lord, this is death.
Yep. And again, like you can't even see the ground. They're so high up. So I don't know why Santa decided this was a good design element for the trains. It seems like a risk of death would be high, but I guess they don't expect people to get stuck and have to walk off of it,
Don't know. Maybe the elves have a sort of flying technique, or
like in the Santa Claus,
perhaps
the ELFS.
yeah, maybe they do. Or maybe they got like jetpacks when they work on these. I don't know.
I guess so, but somehow we're here, and our three of our heroes, excluding Sheldon, the other three are stuck here in the middle of this, and they have to walk tightrope walk style to get to the back to the mainland.
Based on Penny's hearing.
Yes, so Penny is hearing something. And I think the Raj character is as well. Our Leonard character can't hear it. The Penny character keeps saying, "Follow the sound. The sound is beautiful. The sound is beautiful." We don't hear it because our Leonard character, our hero boy, doesn't hear it. We have no idea what the sound is. But Penny and Raj are following the sound. So they're going through Santa's village, through the North Pole, through where all the elves live to try and find the sound.
Yeah.
On their way, they get detoured. They are stuck in this packaging room. It is your typical assembly line manufacturing where big boxes get stamped out and moved down the assembly line type of situation. And this one last present drops. There's no presents there because again it's Christmas Eve. Santa's about to take flight. There is one present that drops, and this boy, wherever his hometown was, they said, well, it's going to this town, and he says, hey, that's my town. And they say it's for someone named Billy, and he says, well, hey, my name's Billy. So that's where we learn his name is Billy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is our poor boy, our quiet boy. He has apparently never gotten a present from Santa before in his entire life. And so he sees this one last present, and it's to make you think that this present is going to get lost, right? It's alone, it's by itself. Yeah. He is holding on for it with dear life.
Yeah,
he is not letting go.
He doesn't let go. He rides it, the whole belt and everything on down with it.
Yep, he sure does. And then at some point, all of the presents, they get funneled into Santa's bag. This huge, giant, can hold, a billion presents type of bag. And then all of a sudden, he's still holding on to his present. He's like, something has me, something's pulling me down. And you're like, what is pulling you down? And they tell him to let go of the present, and they'll grab him and pull him up, but he refuses to let go of the present. And then we see someone's hand, and they still pull him up, and then we see the know-it-all boy, the Sheldon character, who had gotten into the presents because it's all about him. Everything is about him. He can't stop and take time and think about other people, much like Sheldon, especially in the earlier years. And we see he's there, and he has found all of his presents, and he's already opened, or has he opened them? No, he hasn't.
Don't remember.
He said that he has found all of his presents already.
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, this big giant bag starts getting lifted into the air by these elves. These flying machines are carrying Santa's bag, and it is going into the middle of the town square.
Yes. Yeah.
There is still one character who we have not placed yet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we will get to this last character
this
here
was
in a
our
minute.
last main character to be introduced as well in the show.
Yes, I think it is. You're right. This is the last of our main character set that was introduced on The Big Bang.
It's
You're
a very
right.
fitting character too.
Yep. When we were talking about which characters we wanted to assign, it was pretty obvious. Most of the characters, I think, definitely stood out. Like the know-it-all boy was 100% Sheldon. It couldn't be anyone else. And the lonely boy had to be Raj. It couldn't be anyone else. And this last person, we were kind of mixed about this
Yeah.
to start with. I had the last say in it because I'm the boss.
Well, you wanted it to be Mrs. Claus originally.
I did. Okay, so and I
But
went
there
back and forth
wasn't
about
a
this.
Mrs. Claus, so
And when I stopped to think about it, this character from Big Bang, there's only one person who could be Santa. Santa is our last person that we are going to meet. Santa is important.
important. Okay.
Important. Santa is also kind of lonely. Like there's all these other people around Santa, but he's the only human in the North Pole. Everyone else is elves. So, you know, he hasn't always had that connection, that human connection during his life because he's surrounded by elves, and you know he's the boss too. So maybe he doesn't get invited to all of the elf parties. You know, if they're celebrating after a successful Christmas delivery.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, maybe Santa doesn't get invited, and Santa feels kind of left out and lonely. But Santa is so important to the whole story of Christmas, and Santa. There's no one else who could be Santa other than this person.
Well, before you tell who Santa is, we're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
And we'll be right back. Okay, so who do you think Santa?
Okay, before we get to Santa, we do need to talk about, which by process of elimination, there's one character, so y'all probably already know who it is. But before we actually disclose that, let's talk about the sound. So the sound that has
Sound of
drawn.
silence?
No, well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Leonard still can't hear the sound. It is the sound that drew Penny and was guiding her to let her know where the group was, where everyone was. And then we see flying in, we see the reindeer flying in. We see their sleigh bells.
It was cool, but that it was aged.
It was a little bit aged. We see the reindeer flying in. We see their sleigh bells on it. And as we are watching this scene, we notice that we can see the reindeer flying, we can hear the elves cheering, and we see these bell. This is my golden snitch, so it's not a bell, but it's kind of bell-esque.
I can't hear the bell.
This is my golden snitch fidget spinner. We cannot hear these bells. We see the bells jingling against the reindeer as they are flying in, but we cannot hear the sound of the bells. And we can see Leonard looking, our hero boy, he's looking. He can't see Santa just yet. He's looking over the crowd, which I don't know why he has to be looking over the crowd. They're elves. They're 2 feet tall. I mean, he could clearly see over all of them.
Yeah.
But there's all this stuff in the way, and he can't see, and you can kind of hear as the tinkling starts to come in that he's seeing, and he's believing in Santa, and he's believing that he's in the North Pole. I don't know why he doesn't believe in Santa already.
After all this stuff he's seen,
everything he has seen, going on this magical train with no tracks.
What does it take, boy?
Yeah, right. Going all Hank here. But he still cannot hear these bells. And the whole premise of the story is that these kids go to the North Pole and Santa gives out the first gift. The first gift goes to a special deserving child that Santa picks to be the person to receive the first toy of the year. And that's really important to our story here, because all of these kids, of course, want to be the kid who gets the first toy of the year.
Yeah, that would be neat.
That would be really
very
cool.
Neat.
So the reindeer come out. We still can't hear anything, and then we see Santa.
Yeah,
And
that's when Santa comes down from, I guess, Santa's house.
Probably.
It's quite the path, the best I recall.
Yep. So we see Santa, and we are placing the Santa character, one of the characters that we hold in the most high esteem, as Amy.
Yeah.
I know you guys are thinking Santa's not a girl. Amy has this, she wants to be included in everything. She wants to feel important and special, but she's never really felt important or special in her life because she didn't have any friends growing up. She's never been to a sleepover. But her work, her research, what she does, what she's done with her life is so important. The same as the Santa character. And how do you think you guys, how do you think Amy would feel knowing that she is Santa Claus? She would be over the moon about it. She would be so thrilled to be able to say, I'm Santa.
Yeah.
I can just hear her and the joy in her voice. Because do you remember that when Sheldon was looking for her, was it a birthday present? And Penny took him shopping, and she was like, buy her some jewelry, buy her a ring, buy her a
yes.
bracelet. But in the end, Sheldon didn't listen to any of Penny's recommendations, and he did not get her a classic piece of jewelry like a ring or a necklace or a bracelet. He got her a tiara. And she felt like the prettiest princess, and she felt so special to have this tiara. So I can imagine Amy with the Santa hat on, how special she would feel.
Yes. Yeah. And she's, I guess she's also had to have a little bit of that. Santa's always, to me, fatherly and motherly.
Yep.
So she definitely has the motherly to her.
Yeah, she
Just
takes
taking
care of Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Yep. Yep. So she's very good at taking care of other people.
Yeah.
And I really like how her character developed from the very first time when we met her in that coffee shop with the blind date that she went on with Sheldon. They met on the internet by chance, and she promised her mom she would go on one date a year.
One date.
And when she met Sheldon, they were very much the same person. How she was very just Sheldon-esque.
Sheldon-esque.
I guess. But to see how her character has really developed and changed,
Yeah,
I think that
very cool.
Yeah, I think that her character has had the most growth over the show. Sheldon has grown a lot. We just watched the episode last night where he got that the reader, the emotion reader that they were developing at MIT. And how he realizes that, yes, he can kind of read people's emotions and tell when they're happy or sad, but still not quite. But Amy's character changed so much from that first episode through the latter seasons.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. So I really like Amy's character. I think she's funny. And I just love that she loves to be included and be in charge. And when she found out she was the popular kid on campus and that Sheldon was popular because he was dating her just joy and excitement, she has to be Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good choice. That was it kind of fell in because that's just where it fit.
It did. We kind of got down to the end and we were like, oh, we don't have a place for Amy yet. And so I thought it would be forced putting Amy in this last character that we saw, the Santa character. But I don't think it was forced at all. I think it was really
I initially thought she would be a secondary elf.
Yeah.
But watching through it, none of them fit. The primary one was obviously who it was going to be, and I'm like, well, there'll be another one that'll fit with her. Nothing did, because after the cheery one, they just got more gruff.
Yep.
It was like, I don't like these elves.
They were not cheery elves.
No, this was not the elves from Elf, I suppose.
Right.
But they were happy to work, or the elves from the Mickey Mouse
Oh,
ones
yeah.
we watch at Christmas.
Yep.
Jailbreak Bob.
Yep.
So from here, Santa picks up that group of the heroes that we all see,
Yep, all of the
and
kids.
picks one of them to give the gift to.
Yep.
He picks the Leonard character, the hero boy, brings him aboard the sleigh,
Yeah, it was his sleigh.
Yeah, so they're up there, so it would be Amy and Leonard. and Leonard picks.
So Santa asks our hero
Yeah.
boy what he wants for his first present. And our Leonard character, he whispers into Santa's ear. We can't really hear what he says, and Santa's like, "Oh, well, okay, that's very fitting." And what Santa does is he pulls out one single sleigh bell off of the reindeer, and gives it to our Leonard character, and he shakes it, and all of a sudden he can hear the sleigh bells.
Yeah, he's like, "I believe."
Yeah. Well, a
well,
little bit less dramatic.
Yeah. No, and then he did a fitting rendition. "I believe I can fly."
Woo!
Yeah, and then he touched the sky and he took off, and Rudolph came down and they rode off into the sunset. That was the
There
end
was
of the
no
movie.
Rudolph in this movie.
It was how the movie ended. You don't remember that?
Yeah, no, I must have slept through that part.
It did. Frosty was in it. It was great.
Yeah, I missed all of that.
The ending was beautiful. I loved it. It was spectacular. It's fitting of Christmas movies I've ever seen.
So one of the things that we forgot to mention at the very beginning of this movie, when our hero boy Leonard is running out to see what all of this commotion is, he grabs his robe off of his bed, and on one of the posts on the bed, it rips his pocket. So
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, easy to forget, easy to not notice.
it's easy to forget, but it was clearly visible that his pocket in his robe was ripped. And so when Santa says, "Okay, it's time for me to go. You need to get back on the train," our Leonard character takes his sleigh bell and just without thinking, he puts it in his pocket.
The Will Wheaton conductor says, "I'd put that somewhere safe if I were you."
He
And
does
that's
say
when
that.
he puts it in his pocket.
Yep.
But before they leave, we have a rock and roll concert.
We do have a rock and roll concert.
What song did when it was rock and roll? It was Aerosmith in the
okay,
movie.
so it
What
was
did they
Aerosmith.
sing?
I don't know.
I don't remember either. But
Was it a made up something?
I don't know. We're
Oh,
replacing
probably
them.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, he did love a good
Yeah.
Santa song.
Yeah, that's what we know about a lot of Santa movies is that song plays over and over.
Santa can't walk around without hearing a song about him.
Uh-huh.
He's got to have an entrance
Yeah,
and
he
an
does.
exit
Yep.
and just a theme song.
Yep.
It's how Santa is. But we're replacing that band with who? Who are we bringing? What band are we bringing in, baby?
The one and only Bare Naked Ladies. And okay, y'all, I love the Bare Naked Ladies. They are one of my favorite bands. And on my Spotify end of year list, they made the top 5. I think they were like number 3. Taylor Swift is
Oh my
number
gosh.
1.
I got a question for you now. Burning question.
Okay.
Hot take. Do we bring them in and let them sing that song from Bare Naked from the holidays?
Oh.
And then do we bring in Sarah McLachlan too to sing it with them?
No, they have to do something for the movie.
That could be it. Oh, so you want to make it their own song?
Yeah.
Oh, boo. I thought that'd be great.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Bare Naked Ladies are the ones who sang the
theme song. Yeah,
Yeah, it all started with a Big Bang. And Ben, actually, for Valentine's Day this year, he got me tickets to go see Big Bang when they came, to see Bare Naked Ladies when they came around.
yeah.
And they did that song, not just the first half that you hear on the TV show, but all of us true fans know the entire song has multiple verses to it. And they did the whole thing, and the crowd went wild, and I love Bare Naked Ladies, and I would love to see them reprise some kind of Christmas song. They are really good at writing original songs, so I would personally like to see them write an original song for this movie.
I found out that the theme song was apparently a on-stage rap like he does. He was just doing that, and Chuck Lorre and another guy were in the audience and heard him do it, and that's how they brought that in for the theme song.
That is a really cool fun fact that I did not know.
Yeah, so pretty neat.
That is really neat. But yeah, so I think Ben wants them to do a traditional Christmas song.
That's what I thought.
I would like to see them do something that they write specifically for this movie because they are really good at their originals.
I don't know. We can pick whatever, but I do know that at the very, very end, I want to go back to the Elf Band doing the Big Bang song.
We could do that.
That's what I want to see.
Yep.
As the credits roll, that's what I want to see.
I would be okay
I
with
want to
that.
see
I
them
would
in
not be
elf
upset by
ears
that.
and a hat. That's what I want to see.
I would be on board with that.
That's right.
The more bare naked ladies, the better.
I think in their contract they have to have 2 songs.
Probably. Yep.
All right, so what happens when the train ride home's pretty much
Well,
straightforward.
before we board the train, so if you'll remember at the beginning where I said each ticket, so you had a golden ticket, kind of like Willy Wonka, you have your golden ticket or whatever, and the conductor punched 2 letters into each train ticket for each person. It was individualized, non-transferable. They were your tickets.
Okay.
So at the end, when you're getting back on the train, after you've seen Santa, he punches the rest of the words into the ticket. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
is your word.
Word of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's your ticket. So the 2 letters, everyone was confused. What are these 2 letters? Well, when the conductor punched it at the end, it kind of came full circle. So the boy, our Leonard Boy's character, I believe, what it has said, believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I believe that the Leonard's
pun
character
intended.
said believe. The Penny's character said learn.
I have no idea.
I think hers said learn. I don't remember what the show. Do you have your phone? Look that up.
No, all my stuff's recording.
Oh, I'm like really curious.
You're the one who threw your phone down.
Well, it was in the
You
way.
got to have your devices, okay?
Well, I guess I could have looked on my watch, but
Oh, look at you, James Bond.
yeah. So I'm curious. You keep talking. I'm gonna look this
All right,
up.
so
You need
apparently
a
these tickets all said
you need a
something different.
producer.
I thought that I know that's why we had to make some money. I thought that they all said believe. Personally, I did not know
they
that.
each said something different, individual.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think mine would probably say go away, but I could be wrong. So the parent, I thought that's what the thing was. You got your ticket, you got on the thing, you went home. But I'm wrong. I didn't know that you had to get it stamped again to get back on the train. What if it stamped something bad on it? What if it said no?
Well, it wouldn't, because this is a children's book, and I have very fond memories of being a little kid and reading this book. We read it when I was little in school. My mom loves reading, and she read it to us when we were kids. I had this book. It was this huge hardback book with this shiny glossy cover.
So it was a book first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
a
was
book.
trying to remember if it was a book or a film first. I couldn't remember.
It was a book. So I remember reading this back when I was a kid, and I loved this book. So it was really special to me when they made that
Oh,
movie.
so you got it now.
I have it. Okay, so the Sheldon's characters golden ticket said learn.
Learn. Okay.
So he need there's still, even though he's a know-it-all, there's still some things that he needs to learn.
Patience.
Our hero boy, Leonard, said believe.
Mm-hmm.
Our little shy boy,
Uh-huh.
Billy, our Raj's characters, his said depend on.
Oh,
And our Penny character said lead.
lead. Okay.
Yep.
Depend on. That's interesting.
And so our lonely boy Raj, his was a very special ticket because he flipped it over, and on the back side it said rely on. Remember, this is a punch. He used
What?
an actual puncher to punch it. So how could it have done it if it wasn't something other than Christmas magic? So on the front, when he first looked, it said depend on. He flipped it over and it said rely on, and then he flipped it over again and it said count on. So he got 3 messages on his one ticket.
That's the devil.
No. What's wrong with you?
The 80s. Gosh, gotta call the preacher in on this one.
Well,
Now, if that had been in if that had been in a book that wasn't a children's book, they were just talking about it in certain times, they would have been like, we got to burn these books.
well, probably, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this very sweet film
America.
and this hilarious TV show and
Yes.
how they would mash well together.
That's right.
We are doing our own mashup.
That would be. They could probably bring in the. What was that game of Ka?
Yeah. The Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know any of that stuff. If y'all
Magic
know about
cards of
that,
Ka or something
yeah,
like that.
I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with that type of stuff.
I mean, they could not reproduce exactly what those cards said, so they probably put something else in them.
I don't even know what we're talking about
You
anymore.
know these cards that they just
The
punched.
tickets.
Yeah, the tickets. They couldn't they for the dream they couldn't put those.
Uh,
They would have to put something else in them. I'm trying to think. What would be funny to punch in each person's ticket.
well, I don't know, but I like the know it all got learn
Yeah.
because, even the people who think that they know everything, there is usually a compassion that they need to learn or understanding of others that they need to learn even though you may know all of the book smarts and you know facts and stuff, there's still a lot that you need to learn.
Yeah.
So I
For
like
true.
that one for him. And I like that our Penny character said lead because we never really think of Penny as being a leader. She's trying to pursue her acting and then she gets into the sales, but she's usually just kind of along for a good time and she likes to make other people happy, but she's not really a leader. But I think with Sheldon, she very much is. I mean, she ends up being Sheldon's best friend,
Mm.
right?
Actually, I think of the entire group that she is the leader.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
So
always thought that way.
so
I mean,
her character is definitely another one, just like Amy's, who changed a lot
it's
from the
actually
beginning.
I've always thought the other ones are so smart they're too dumb to go anywhere. So they have to have her to lead them in the right direction.
With all the common sense and how to go about life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Leonard tries, but there's only so far he can get. And you gotta, when your IQ's of 173 and 187, yeah.
There's usually not a lot of common sense that goes along with it.
And we're seeing it in young Sheldon, so we
Yeah.
know
Yep.
just at what point he stopped being able to. Oh, I don't know why do I not go in that room? I don't know. Let's find out.
Yep.
And he just doesn't understand that.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's why you have Penny there.
Yep.
Honey, we don't do these things.
Exactly. She's kind of the common sense of the group.
So same thing. Yeah, that's why she's the hero girl.
She is.
Yeah.
I mean, this
That's
all.
why they're
this
the
all
hero
fits.
boy, because he tries
Yep.
as best he can, and he's why he was the one that was in trouble the whole movie.
Yep. He was. Leonard's always in trouble too, I feel like. Yeah. So I don't think that I've ever watched a movie that the characters go along with a TV show movie or something completely in anything completely unrelated, or two movies or two TV shows that really could go hand in hand the way that this show and this movie just seamlessly would mesh well into one. For one, the guys all went to the North Pole for a research
They really did,
expedition.
yeah.
They have been to the North Pole, so I do feel like all of this really meshes well, and it's someone please make this movie.
Yeah,
we
we
don't have the money to make this movie, but somebody please make this movie.
We talked about actually chopping it up and making it just the three main characters or the four, remember? And then we were like, no, because then we kept watching it, and we talked about it, and the other ones just all started to fit in as well.
They all fell in line
So
perfectly.
we're like, it's too. We can actually talk the whole thing out, and it
Yep.
all makes sense.
Yep. So if you guys have not watched the Polar Express in many years, I don't think we had seen it in probably 3 or 4 years. If you guys haven't watched it lately, sit down and watch it and think about it in these terms of these characters and how they fit in and how the characters really are kind of one and the same, and think, oh, well, that is something that Leonard would do, or oh, well, the caring and compassionate girl of the hero girl, which is Penny, really does take the extra time with Raj and kind of go out of her way with Sheldon, and just kind of look at it in those terms and think, well, these characters really are fitting well.
Yep. And if we know that there are other characters that probably were in the show more so than Bert and Will Wheaton, and if you think you found someone who fits in better, you just let us know. I'm not going to take great offense to the work.
I don't know. It's kind of perfect for me.
Yeah,
So
well.
I want it to be made exactly like this.
Okay, well, you just name
I
the
will take
place,
offense.
and we'll meet you in the street at high noon. And lightsabers drawn. All right. So,
Or wands.
she wants to do with wands.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Star Wars, but I got the Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, you're going down. It's gonna be rough. Okay. Any final words?
Nope, that's it. If you guys know anything about the physics of riding on top of a train, I am very curious about that one more than anything else. So if anyone else there really knows their science stuff, that is what I'm very curious about. Drop us a line, let us know because am curious.
Okay.
And so you guys all have a happy new year, a good 2024, and watch this stuff and let us know.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed our very special second guest star, first one on camera this time. And let's see, I don't think we're going to have another episode this year because there's only one more day of the year. So from going commando
Oh
with
yeah,
the
there
80s
is only
kids,
one more day of the
that's
year.
right.
Yeah.
So from us to you, a happy new year, and I think that's all you say. A happy new year. There's nothing to come
Happy
after
New Year,
that.
and
Because
just
usually it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
yeah,
That's just Happy New Year.
No, Christmas is
So,
done.
yeah.
But shameless plug: if you guys are going to Disney World or on a Disney cruise anytime soon, check me out at Carousel of Castles. We go to Disney multiple times a year. We love it. It is my passion. I love the food. We just did a whole like vegan tour. So if you guys have food allergies or if you eat vegan, we are going to be putting out some articles on that. To help you plan. If you have any questions, get in touch with him. He can get in touch with me, or just check me out at Carousel of Castles and we can plan your Disney trip.
And that's on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know how to use Facebook. It is too hard for me.
Okay.
I like TikTok.
Ah,
I think it's like a generational thing. Even though you're just a couple of years older than I am, you can figure out that stuff and I can't. TikTok is easy. Or I have a website, just carouselofcastles.com.
oh, that's right. .com.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot you had that.
Yeah.
And I don't. So, but for us, you can get a hold of me with Ben Davis or Carthy at all of the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget, we're on YouTube where you can watch this awesome video we just did. And it's going to be in 4K.
And you can see us in our Jamie Jams.
That's right. We're in jams talking about Christmas movies.
Yep.
That will be Going Commando with the 80s Kids. That's on YouTube as well. So, and we're also on we're on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I
That's
don't know anything about that.
80s Kids. Going to be coming out hot this year, 2024. So, from us to you, take care of yourselves and each other.